Hi there, I'm Athena Perrakis, founder of Sage Goddess and author of Crystal Lore Legends and Myths. And I think you know that because if you're watching this video, I want to say thank you to you. You've gotten this video as a free gift. It's really my thank you to you for supporting the book. And so this is a mini class, a little bonus class on the crystals of the Zodiac. And my intention is to bring them to life for you. You know, a lot of people call these the birth stones, right? These are the stones that have a resonance with you just based on what month you're born in. And of course, every month shares two astrological signs. And so the energy is always split between both of the signs and negotiating a really interesting and sacred balance between the energies, whether it's earth or air or fire or water, that those signs represent. So we're going to walk through month by month. I've got my notes here planned for you. And I've also got the stones in my hand so that I can really show you what each of the crystals of the Zodiac look like, just in case you haven't seen them before or haven't worked with them. And one thing for you to consider is, because I'm covering 2 stones per month, if there's one that's always been your birthstone, but you never really connected with it, for me that's peridot. It's my birthstone, but I've never loved it. Like, I don't have a good open relationship with peridot. I have never really felt a connection to its vibration, but I do love the alternative for August, and we'll get there. And so I've decided to really receive that as my birthstone. I have a much stronger energetic connection to it. The resonance, the frequency of the stone is more in alignment with, I think, my own personal frequency. The other thing to consider is take a look at your rising sign and your moon sign, and also look at the birth months and the crystals of those months as well, because there'll be a resonance for you too. So of course my moon's in Sagittarius, as a lot of you know. My rising is Libra. And so I also kind of feel a connection to the stones from that month or those months as well. And you might feel the same thing. So let's dig right in. I'm super excited to share these stones with you. But again, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting this particular project. Writing crystal lore was one of the most challenging things I've ever done. It is indeed a true history book. And that's something for me to say, given that I've written a doctoral dissertation and 2 other books that are kind of intense as well. But crystal lore was probably not the hardest to write. I don't think any of them were hard to write because they're all really part of my passion in life, but definitely took the most intense research, the most discipline to complete, and really make sure that it was thorough for you. So I did my best. I hope you enjoy it. When you get a moment, would you please leave a review on Amazon? Reviews are really important, especially for authors like me who are just getting established, and so I really appreciate it. It's also fun for me to go and read what you thought of the book, and I really do welcome your feedback. So if you would take a few minutes to do that, I would so be grateful. Okay, let's dig right in. So we're going to go chronological from January to December. And so when we're talking about January, of course, we're talking about garnet, which is the traditional birthstone for January. Especially for all of you Capricorn babies, right? You always think of garnet as your birthstone, and I love garnet so much. But the alternative is onyx, and I love onyx too. Onyx is a stone of endurance and strength, and garnet is a stone of grounding and stability. And that is the energy of all of you January babies. You are grounding, stable sources of support and encouragement and stability for everybody in your life. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. That's your life story, but it's really true. And the crystals of your month in the Zodiac wheel definitely reflect all of these qualities and traits that you inherently have to offer. So garnet, by the way, both of these come primarily from India. Garnet, and here's garnet for you. This is a beautiful tumbled almandine garnet. Isn't that pretty? And then there's your onyx, really traditional black onyx. If onyx is any color other than black, it's called sardonyx. Little known fact. So when you see sardonyx, it just means that's a color of onyx that isn't black, not traditional. So garnet the name garnet comes from the Latin word for seed, granatus. When you think of pomegranate, right? And so there's all this really interesting mythology around pomegranate. To the ancient Persians, it was sacred. And it's thought that the pomegranate is actually the fruit of the tree of knowledge from the Bible. For so long, we thought it was apples, right? That Eve ate an apple from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And that's where, of course, that whole story began. But it wasn't an apple. It was a pomegranate. Think about Persephone, right? What was she eating when Hades kidnapped her and took her to the underworld? It was a pomegranate. Pomegranate has always represented hidden or forbidden wisdom that somehow transports you, illuminates you, expands your consciousness. And so that's what garnet does too. In addition to grounding you and providing a really beautiful source of stability, I even feel grounded just sitting here teaching you and holding these crystals. And so if you want to feel that Capricorn energy, and, you know, of course, the first half of December belongs, well, January we're talking about, but so there's a little bit of, you know, the essence of Capricorn in that month. And then there's also Aquarius, because starting on the 21st, 22nd of January, we turn signs from Capricorn to Aquarius. And Aquarius is the stone of freedom, right? So there's a little bit of freedom energy too, especially in garnet. Freedom of the mind, freedom to think new thoughts or to think differently. That's what Aquarius represents. That's the medicine of Aquarius, is thinking differently, thinking outside the box. And so that is beautiful medicine for the month of January. And then in February, of course, we move more deeply into the sign of Aquarius, and then we also greet Pisces, right? Because at the beginning of February, we're in Aquarius land, and then when we turn signs, again, the 21st, 22nd of the month is when we turn to the next sign. We move into Pisces season. And so February's energy, where January is all stability and strength and courage and grounding, February's energy is a little bit different. It's freedom of thought and expression. It's also peace and balance. February people tend to be very encouraging, and they tend to be very supportive. They tend to be sources of balance in their lives, not just for themselves, but for loved ones as well. Your stones for February, by the way, tend to come from Africa and Brazil. You'll also find them in India, Uruguay, and Morocco. And I'm particularly talking about amethyst. Amethyst in the world tends to come from those three places, Brazil, Uruguay, or Morocco. Those are also my favorite sources of all of the purple stones. You think about fluorite that also comes from those certain parts of the world as well. Just really beautiful crystals that have so much wisdom to share with us. So amethyst, like I said, is detox and purification, peace and tenderness. And then jasper is loving kindness. This is Mukite jasper. And so in general, all jaspers are for loving kindness, but then each kind of jasper has its own unique metaphysical properties too. Mukite jasper is the stone of beauty. I'm sure you know that. I love this particular piece too. Look at the balance of colors in that stone. Isn't it stunning? That'd be a beautiful one to wire wrap and wear. It's a Venus stone, helps you tap into your own beauty, helps open you to be able to see the beauty in the rest of the world too. And so again, for February, the traditional birthstone is amethyst. The alternative is jasper. In almost any form aligns with the energy of February, whether it's rainforest jasper, Mukite, which is a different form of jasper. I think you'll find that the energy and the frequency is very similar. Okay. And then next up, in March, you have, of course, the combined energies of Pisces at the beginning of the month, and then you have Aries at the end of the month. My children are born middle of March and end of March, so I have a Pisces and an Aries. So this month is very familiar to me. And so the two birthstones for March are aquamarine. Here's a beautiful natural crystal of aquamarine to show you, and then this is a beautiful tumbled piece. Such a watery stone. Aquamarine is named for the ocean, and it represents that beautiful watery flow of energy. And then the alternative birthstone for March is bloodstone, and that's what bloodstone looks like. And it's named bloodstone because our ancestors saw these little red spots on the stone and believed it to be blood. The reality is it's jasper. Bloodstone is a form of jasper, and there's green jasper and red jasper, and so bloodstone is a combination of both of those. It's a very strong physical healer. It helps to bring stamina. It's really a powerful pain reliever. If you have pain in your body, simply put a piece of bloodstone where you're hurting and watch the pain sort of shift and melt away. I have clients who actually take thinner pieces of bloodstone than this. We used to have these discs. Some of you have them. They're such powerful crystal healing tools, and like lay the disc on. I had one client who would put a, wrap a sock around her foot. Or sometimes I've even heard of clients who'll take a piece of bloodstone and wrap a rubber band and then put a sock or a glove on and just hold the energy there and contain it to really help with pain relief. And you can support that with the use of essential oils as well. Okay, so aquamarine is emotional healing and regeneration. Really powerful detoxifier of the emotions. If you have anger issues, aquamarine will bring all that beautiful, soothing water energy to you and help you move the energy and shift the energy. And like I said, bloodstone is really important for regeneration, cellular regeneration, healing of all of the body systems, including the skeletal system and the muscular system. And again, stamina, helping you to move through the challenges of life with ease and with grace. So that's our Pisces and Aries medicine. In April, it's quartz and diamond. Now, diamond is the traditional birthstone of April. I'm going to show you my engagement ring, so I don't have a diamond on hand here at Sage Goddess. They're not actually listed in the shop, but that is a diamond. And then this is quartz. And so here's what I love. You want that pure white light energy with April. And I think part of it is, if you think about it, Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. And I think it's one of the most powerful signs in the zodiac. I'm not an Aries. I'm raising an Aries. They are headstrong. They are powerful. They get things done. They see clearly. Aries is almost always right. Even my son, since he's been little, if we were driving somewhere and we were going to turn right, he would say, you have to turn left there. And we would check, and he was usually right. And so Aries has this really potent energy, and they're trustworthy. And like I said, they're usually accurate in their assessment. So if you don't have diamond, which by the way is said throughout history to have been the most powerful gem on the planet, thought to heal all illness and all disease, thought to supremely protect you throughout your life while you travel through any kind of dangerous circumstances, diamond has always been seen as protective. It's the hardest crystal or mineral on the measure of hardness scale, the Maz, right? And so it's a 10 out of 10. Diamonds cannot be cut, but they can cut other gems. Next in line, by the way, of course, is corundum at a 9 on the measure of hardness scale, which is ruby and sapphire. And so it is a powerful, durable, intense stone that has a powerful and durable and intense energy field for a sign that is powerful, durable, and intense. If you don't have diamond to work with for its energy, quartz is a powerful alternative. And the reason is quartz has a uniquely strong vibration. It's one of the highest vibrational minerals and materials you can work with. And quartz can be programmed to act as if it's any other crystal or mineral. Did you know that? So let's say you really wish you had some tourmaline for protection, but you don't. You can take a piece of quartz. I like to put it in my left hand and cover it with my right hand, so I'm both sending and receiving the energy. Take a deep centering breath. And close your eyes and set your intention. So my intention is that this quartz will act as if it is schorl, black tourmaline, for the purposes of keeping me safe and protected until I deconsecrate this stone or release it from this intention and purpose. Amen, aho, and so it is. And you can use your breath to seal that intention. And now you have programmed your quartz. And it's going to go about its business of protecting you because it's now acting as if it is another mineral. Only quartz has that kind of really unique chameleon-like ability to shift and become something other than it is today. Okay, when we get to May, we enter the enchanted realms of Taurus energy, which is so, so powerful. So we have, and we have Taurus, of course, at the end of April, but when we get to May, we have Taurus and Gemini. And the gemstones of May are emerald, and this is emerald from Colombia. We also have lots of Indian emerald that comes across our wires too. And then chrysoprase. Chrysoprase is another one of my favorite stones. Tends to come from Australia. But there are other parts of the world where you'll find chrysoprase as well, and it's one of my favorites of all time. So let's talk about these two stones. Emerald, did you know, was sacred to King Montezuma from the Aztec civilization. It's said that he had a crystal skull that he consulted when he was making decisions for the Aztec Empire, and that it had an emerald triangle pyramid on top of its head that was sort of like a hat or a crown that he had fashioned for it. And so he would touch the emerald on top of his crystal skull when he was pronouncing a decision or making an important decision throughout the empire. And it said that he gifted Cortez, of course, when he came through and was making his discoveries through the New World. It said that Montezuma gifted Cortez emerald because he thought it was the most powerful mineral that he worked with. Now, Cleopatra felt the same way. It's said that she had her likeness carved into an emerald stone. And it's thought also that Hermes believed that emerald was very powerful as a channeling stone, a psychic stone, a stone of interstellar and interdimensional communication. And maybe that's why all these ancient figures felt so attracted to emerald, and that it was so important for their work and for their leadership in particular. Chrysoprase, did you know? Alexander the Great always wore chrysoprase into battle. He said it kept him safe, body, mind, and spirit. This one's shaped like a heart, and I'll tell you why that matters. Because chrysoprase heals the heart. It heals the emotions, and it also heals the physical heart. So for those who have cardiac challenges, physical cardiac challenges, chrysoprase is a great healer, a master healer. And for those who are going through incredible emotional challenges, it's also really important for you to be working with chrysoprase as well. Now, when we come to June, of course, the first half of June, again, is Gemini energy. Air energy, communication energy, lots of Mercury energy as we come into the first part of June. But then the end of June turns us toward Cancer, water energy, home, mother, father, primal root chakra energy. And so the two stones for June are alexandrite, which is a very hard stone to find. This is one of only 2 pieces in the building at Sage Goddess, because when we sold it, we sold right out of it. This is alexandrite from Russia, and then this is a beautiful pearl from Southeast Asia. Isn't that lovely? And so pearl is the traditional birthstone of June. It is considered a gift of the sea. It's the result of incredibly hard work, right? Think about the process that shell has to go through, that creature has to go through to produce a pearl, how long it takes, what kind of endurance it represents. And so I think that's the medicine of pearl, that after a long toil, a long struggle, a lot of times there's a gift at the end, a reward for all of your struggles and your challenges. It's something beautiful that becomes created out of hard work and out of struggle. You know, beautiful things can emerge from those spaces. So pearl reminds you to have faith. Alexandrite is a stone of queens. It's a color change stone. It's pleochroic. And so depending on the light that you have your alexandrite in, it can change color from this deep green into beautiful shades of blue, and then of course into the traditional color that you see, and beautiful cut and faceted stones into that beautiful purple color. And so alexandrite represents royalty and sovereignty and queen energy. More, I would say, of the Cancerian energy of that month, which is all about honoring the primal power, the primal divine feminine in particular, that returns your sovereignty to you, reminds you that you have integrity, that you have power, that you have a right to be here and to command resources at your disposal to support your development and your highest good. That to me is all the energy of alexandrite. Okay. Then when we go into July, we're coming into my territory here. The first half of July, all Cancer all the time. Second half of July is when we inch toward Leo. So we go from watery, maternal, emotionally connective energy into leadership and courage and stamina and lioness energy of Leo season. So the 2 birthstones of July, one of them is one of my favorite stones on the planet, and that's ruby. That's the stone of the life force. This is Indian ruby. Isn't it beautiful? Life force, passion, compassion, really truly prana energy, right? Chi or ki. It's the life force within you that is the connection between your spirit and your body. That's what ruby represents. When people are feeling discouraged or depressed, oftentimes I'll recommend ruby for them as stone medicine because it helps to connect you with the essence of who you are and the core of why you decided to incarnate on the planet in this lifetime. But then, of course, the alternative is carnelian. This is the gemstone form of caffeine. This is just pure stamina, pure energy, go, go, go. And if you think about July, what's happening in nature, I always like to think about the birthstones and their connection to the seasons. In July, everything is in bloom. The fruit is strong and vibrant, right, and almost ready to be picked. The flowers are just abundant in every color. Nature is just alive. And it's got energy, it's got room to run. It still has more than a month before the harvest season begins, right? And so that to me is carnelian. It's like it's go time stone. So it's a really nice alternative if you don't connect with ruby and you're a July baby. Maybe think about working with carnelian instead. Now in August, we have peridot, right? The beginning of August is all Leo. That's where I live. And so peridot is the primary birthstone for August. But if you don't feel connected to it, there's always spinel. And spinel is my preferred, birthstone for August. This is a spinel crystal in matrix. Spinel is for manifestation. So peridot is abundance. They call it the cornucopia stone. It's like everything that you seek all coming to you in perfect time. That's peridot energy. Spinel is go and make it happen. Manifest, create, gather energy, direct energy, focus energy. Leos are so good at that. So are Virgos. And they hold the energy of the second part of the month of August. And so if you have a Virgo in your life, consider sharing spinel magic with them, spinel medicine with them. They really resonate with those frequencies of manifestation and creation in life. Then we move into September. And this is where we get into hybrid Virgo and Libra medicine in September. And the traditional birthstone, of course, for September is sapphire. Sapphire is blue corundum. It's considered the teacher's stone. I wear it every day in a pendant that my son gave me. And because I am a teacher, I really find it to be helpful. It helps you organize your ideas and articulate them effectively. It also enhances your intuition and your clair abilities, your clairvoyance, your ability to see, your clairaudience, your ability to hear, your clairsentience, your ability to feel. But the alternative birthstone for September, if you don't feel connected to sapphire, is lapis. This is lapis lazuli. The origins of the name, by the way, simply mean blue rock. So people always ask me, is lapis some really exotic word? And it's like, no, the origin story of lapis lazuli is it literally means blue stone. Our ancestors were not often creative when it came to naming their crystals and minerals, but that's okay. It's a magical name. Lapis was one of the favorite stones of Cleopatra during her rule. She actually had the palace walls inlaid with it. She ground it and wore it as eyeliner. And, famous representations of her always have the big, thick blue line. And so she thought it brought her power and prestige. And again, you think about Virgos and Libras too, are very elegant and very proud and very organized and very strong and very queenly, but also reserved in their mannerisms. Very, very, what's the word? Refined. And that's what I think of when I think of lapis lazuli energy. It's like energy of letting it come to you, not chasing things in life, but just trusting that they'll come to you in perfect time. And so if you need more of that energy, even if you're not a Virgo or a Libra, you might consider working with lapis as a stone medicine. Okay, then we move into October, and the two crystals for that particular month, of course, again, traditional birthstone for Libras and anyone born in October is opal. This is a gorgeous Ethiopian opal, isn't it beautiful? But the alternative is tourmaline, and I love it just as much. Now, tourmaline comes in a wide range of colors. This is green tourmaline, which is wisdom and discernment in love. There's also pink tourmaline, which is a heart opener. But think of both of these crystals as crystals of transformation. That tourmaline is going to transform your heart or your mind. If you're working with black tourmaline, it's protective. It's going to transform your feeling of safety. Opals change everything they touch. truly. And opals were prized again by Cleopatra and many ancient rulers. There's a whole mythology, and you'll read the story in the book, about how the legend has it that when the gods on Mount Olympus in ancient Greek, when they would come down from Mount Olympus, everywhere they would step on the ground, on the earth, an opal was formed instantly. And so they're thought to be the footprints of the gods. And maybe that's where their real magic of transformation and even manifestation too with opal, where that legend has its root. Now, as we head into November, we're in the realm of Scorpio, of course. November's crystals. The month starts with Scorpio, and the month ends with Sagittarius. And so the traditional birthstone for Scorpios, there's really two. There's topaz and there's citrine. Here's a topaz crystal to show you, a beautiful naturally terminated topaz crystal, which is all about mystery and protection. Topaz makes you invisible. It was used in ancient times. They would burnish topaz into the breastplates of warriors to help throw their enemies off course, to prevent them from being seen on the battlefield. And then citrine, which is a warm, beautiful stone for this time of year in that beautiful month of November when the seasons are turning, represents prosperity and, again, manifestation. You think about Scorpio people and Sagittarius people too. They're very strong-willed, very powerful beings, able to gather energy, direct energy, move energy, transform energy with pure will and vision and foresight. And so these two stones are equally powerful. If you want to work with one that's better for protection, I would err on the side of topaz. And if you want to work with one that's more powerful for manifestation, then I would choose citrine as your primary birthstone for November. And then last but not least is December. And there are two beautiful gemstones that correspond with this final month of the year in the Zodiac. And so at the beginning of December, it's Sagittarius energy. At the end of December, it's Capricorn energy. And both of these signs resonate to the frequency of turquoise as a primary and traditional birthstone for December-born babies. I love turquoise. This is a gorgeous piece of sleeping beauty. Turquoise, very rare, very hard to find. For the most part, mined out. So you mostly find it traded in the open marketplace now. But the alternative birthstone for December is tanzanite. And you'll find the story in the book about tanzanite. It's such a powerful story. Just outside of the village where tanzanite was originally found, there had been a massive storm. And it was a massive thunder and lightning storm. And so the villagers left. The storm was so bad, everybody fled the village. This is right near Mount Kilimanjaro, by the way, in Tanzania. And so when they came back, they found these little blue crystals all over the ground, look just like this. Little rough tanzanite crystals. And so what had happened during the storm is that a bolt of lightning struck through the mountain. And as it exited the mountain, it withdrew all of these tanzanite crystals and literally sprinkled them all over the ground. And so they were jumping for joy. They kept saying this is a gift from heaven. And indeed, it did turn out to be a gift from heaven. Did you know that the mining of tanzanite, the cutting and faceting and polishing of tanzanite, and the distribution of tanzanite around the world actually supports that entire country in so many ways? That creates its own economy. Tanzanite's now one of the most powerful and desirable crystals in the world. It's rarer than diamond. And so it commands a high price in the marketplace. But it's small pieces like this are still relatively accessible if you want to work with it as your birthstone. We're lucky enough here at Sage Goddess to often have some really, really beautiful tanzanite jewelry in our inventory as well. So there you have it, a beautiful selection of crystals of the Zodiac. So fun to show them to you here live. I hope you enjoy every minute of reading crystal lore, legends, and myths. It's really definitely, like I said, a labor of love from my heart to yours. I hope it serves as a source of inspiration and wisdom and deeper connection, too, to the crystals that you already know and love. I will look forward to seeing you soon. And again, in advance, I want to thank you for leaving a review when you're finished with the book so that we can all know, and me in particular, your feedback and what you enjoyed most about the book. I'll see you soon.